Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Friday the 13th for those of you who celebrate. And for those of you who don't celebrate, you should, because it's a very lucky day, you know? It's a very lucky day. But welcome in, everybody. It's so weird. I've been doing this new like StreamYard dark. I don't know if I like it. I don't know how to lighten it back up. So I'm like, the buttons are all like blending in with the screen. So I'm a little not with it. I'm not with it with the new StreamYard. But welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It's good to see you guys. It's Friday. Nothing better than that, you know? Well, other than when it's Saturday morning. You can sleep in. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Catherine. I should say Catherine with the K and a C because I know the Catherine with the C will be here. We'll be here before I get to the end of probably the end of the saying everybody's name. Hey, Ladybug. Welcome in. Hey, Captain. It's good to see you guys. Hopefully you guys had a good Friday. Did you have a good day at work, Mary Beth? You're making homemade twice baked hash browns and egg bites. You worked all week. Mary Beth, girl, take a load off. You need to just let DoorDash do the delivering tonight. Or just say, fend for yourself. That's what my mom used to tell us to do on Fridays. She would actually order pizza. And it was funny because she worked at a pizza place. And the places she would order pizza from wasn't the place she worked at. Very weird. She could eat pizza all the time. We love pizza. Hey, Faith. Welcome in. Hey, Pooh Bear. Let me know if you guys did anything fun. Let me know what you guys did today. I didn't do much of anything. I was in a slump. I was so tired today. I don't know why. I got enough sleep and I woke up today and congratulations to myself. I didn't have to go to my doctor's appointment and I didn't call them. They called me and canceled. Have you ever had like a doctor's appointment and you didn't want to go, and then they called and they canceled on you? That's what happened today. I actually enjoyed that. They never cancel, so it's cool with me. I really wanted to call and cancel with them, so I'm glad they kind of did. But I hope she's okay. I hope my counselor's okay. I didn't really ask. Hey, ALR. I have to pick up duty and have to run. Oh, and have to run, but might get back before it's over. Fingers crossed. Well, hopefully you're driving. If you're out running around, make sure you're driving carefully. Wear your seatbelt. Make sure the cars around you are good. My mom used to say that. My dad, you're not what we worry about. It's the people around you. Yeah, well, sounds about right. Hey, Aries, Bjork. How you doing? Hey, Ashley Higgins. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. I was just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything, you know. Thanks, Aries. Oh, Mary Beth, we're going to take a long break from Sebastian, I think. I think we're going to take us a long break because there's nothing new in that case. And everything that's coming out right now in that case is so it's just too much. It's just too much. Too much. Too much, you know, really. I mean, Sebastian got so tossed to the side in all of this. I feel like it, you know. Hey, LPW, welcome in. Hey, Mary. Murray. I know that was Murray. Well, I knew your name was Murray as soon as I was saying Mary. I don't know why I said it like that. Hey, Mike. Days of painting. I like that. Do you paint a lot? Do you paint or homes or do you paint portraits or paintings? Because you never know. My family's actually had their houses painted before. Hey, stranger. Hey, Nicole. Well, welcome in, everybody. I'll get to the bottom here. So tonight we're going to actually talk about a case that's old. Hey, Tina. Hey, Chai. I'm welcoming in everybody else. I guess there's more people down there. I didn't realize it. Hey, Judy. Hey, Mr. Rosebud. I didn't notice that you guys there was more to go down. So, but thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, is someone not have their medicine? Because I hate when that happens. I just saw you say CVS is a major pain because I was having some difficulties with them So if that's what it is, call, if you have a Walgreens, I called my like local Walgreens, and the first one I called, they were like, yeah, we have your medication. I was like, oh, so I was like, cool. But I like the CVS, so I'll stick with them once they have my medication back in. But tonight we're going to go over an older case that we covered on this channel in the beginning of this year. I knew it was like in the wintertime, but I thought this case was like, I don't know, for some reason I thought it was like more like November, December, but it actually was in January this happened. But it was the first like week of January. But there's some updates that are going on in this case, so I figured we would just kind of cover the whole this whole, case as a whole, and then I'll give you guys like the updates. So I never thought we would be talking about this again. I really didn't, to be honest with you guys. We didn't get any autopsy reports. We didn't get any toxicology reports. We didn't get anything. Like they just weren't giving it to us. We weren't able to get anything. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I remember like thinking that, why is there not reports for this? But I don't know. I must have just assumed wrong. I must have assumed that they were just keeping them for the family and not like, publicly putting them out. But that's not the case. It's the family hasn't even seen the full reports yet. So, and we're going to learn all that stuff tonight. I have like a timeline I was going to pull up and go over a little bit of the case details with you guys, because a lot of us probably don't know about this case. Put a 1 in the chat. So this is going to be the 3 Kansas City Chief fans that were found outside of their friend's home in the yard last year. It was in January. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember this story or case, and then put a 2 in the chat if you don't. The victims' names were David Harrington. He was 36. Clayton McGinney was 37, and that's whose fiance. His fiance is the one who found them. And then Ricky Johnson was 38. Look at all them ones. Look at that. Well, buckle up, because I got some stuff to watch tonight. I'm just going to put on I'm going to put the presentation on. I thought we were going to have more 2s. Well, Judy, wait for your mind to be rocked, because this case was one of those like head scratchers. Like I'm still scratching my head. I'm still wondering how 3 people went down at the same time, pretty much, and no one got help. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Oh my gosh, Mr. Rosebud, that number, that was on my playlist for videos earlier. Like my views when I got off my live, I was like, oh no, someone better just take their view back or give me an extra view. Bad numbers on the Friday the 13th too. So this is a timeline that I found of the Kansas City. I'm trying to think of like a Kansas City 3. I think that's what we were calling them back then. But I have I have a combination of like articles that I grabbed and a combination of like videos that I grabbed. And I figured we'll just kind of start at the beginning and make our way through. Now, the news picked up on this case. News Nation did anyway. And Long Crime, they picked up on this case. It seems like they really started hitting this case hard, like the second week in. And I'm not sure why it was like that, but it was. So this right here was published on February the 2nd. So and the game was on the 1st. So basically, give you, until we get to this timeline, what happened. Actually, there was 5 friends were all watching a football game. Come to find out there was 5 altogether, but one of them owned the home or rented the home. And then 3 friends were there just hanging out at the house with another friend. So the one friend, he leaves. So then there's 4 people still were left in the house, the homeowner and these 3 gentlemen that end up deceased. So they hang out for the game, watch the game, drink some beers, do whatever they do. We don't know at this point. We don't know. We just know that that's what they're doing, just hanging out, drinking, watching the game. 2 days go by. Well, a day and a half or 2 days go by. And on the 9th, that's when Clayton McGinney's fiance calls it, like, there's an alarm bells. Alarm bells are going off. She goes by the home. There's vehicles in the front of the home parked in front, like their vehicles. And so she goes to go to the back fence. And I think they said that she crawled in the basement window. She crawled in and she proceeds to find one of the three, and I believe it was her fiance. But I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully I'll be able to tell you that. But she did find them on the back porch. They were in the back porch and then in the backyard. So then you have this guy, Jordan, that lives there, and he's just been oblivious to this for 2 days. He has dogs. The dogs are miraculously, they're at his dad's house, but it's like, well, when did you take your dogs there to your dad's house? Like, why didn't you have your dogs at your house? Because that's the reason to go in your backyard, is to take your dogs out. And it was just very coincidental that, his dogs weren't there. They were at his dad's house, and he never came out with a reason for it. So we only have our minds to wonder when it comes to that, like, when did your dogs go over there? Because I know that my dogs, they want to go OUT every 2 hours. They don't care. They don't care. And I have to walk them downstairs too. Like, it's not just, not just opening the back door, which would be great. That'd be so great. Hi, Wanda. Hey, Badger Witness. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Seth. I don't know how I didn't see your name. I was staring at it so hard, too. So the death investigation into 3 football fans found dead outside a friend's Missouri home last month, when temperatures dropped below freezing, remained ongoing Friday, as law enforcement awaited autopsy results, according to information from police and a lawyer close to the case. Ricky Johnson, 38, David Harrington, 37, and Clayton McGinney, 36, were found unalived. I'm trying not to get YouTube to ban me too far into the beginning of the live. January 9th, outside a man's home in a Kansas City suburb, sorry. The home is rented by a 38-year-old scientist who lives alone and works remotely. He works for a New York hospital. The man's Kansas City-based lawyer, John Pisarno, previously told USA Today. So he got a lawyer right away. And he ended up moving out of the house awfully quick, too. I remember that. We're going to get to the timeline, but I'm just like, okay. Yeah. It just says, this is like an old article, so they are not naming the man that lived at the home. I'll name him. His name's Jordan. So, I mean, his name's out there now. He was actually a researcher like a scientist for HIV and stuff. Like, he's very smart. He's extremely, like, that's crazy smart, just really smart. But it says USA Today has requested copies of their autopsy and toxicology reports when they're available for public release. Yeah, we're still waiting. January 7th, that's when the football game, I'm just going to I'll go over this a little bit so we kind of remember what's going on. Harrington, Johnson, and McKinney. Those are going to be the 3 gentlemen that died. Harrington, Johnson, and McKinney. Or McGinney. They visit the 38-year-old man's home to watch the Kansas City Chiefs and Los Angeles Chargers game, according to Harrington's mother, Jennifer Marquez. Perserno is the attorney. He said the 4 men and a 5th person spent the day watching the game, and eventually the 5th friend leaves the home. January 8th, friends leave, homeowner wakes up and works. At some point during the early morning hours of January 8th, Harrington, Johnson, and McGinney leave the home before his client goes to bed. So this is the story that he was given. This is the story that he was given. The attorney says his client sleeps most of Monday, gets up, works from home, and eventually goes back to sleep. All along, his three buddies, they didn't leave his home. They're outside in the backyard, frozen. And I'll show you pictures of the house too. It'll blow your mind. If you don't remember the house, it'll blow your mind because of all the windows in the back of that house. So then on January 9th, the men are found dead outside the house. So McKinney's fiance visits the home, finds one of them dead on the back porch, and notifies police. They'll say it in the News Nation interview, who was found on the back porch. I can't remember exactly who was. The renter wakes up January 9th, works all day until he is later. We need a retraction, or we need to fix an edit. Until he is contacted by law enforcement, according to his attorney. But they just said a minute ago that he sleeps most of the day and then wakes up and does work. Right here. Okay, so this lawyer just changed his dang story within 2 days. So the lawyer says his client sleeps most of Monday, gets up, works from home, and then eventually goes back to sleep. Right? Okay. Then right here, according to his attorney, the renter wakes up, works all day until he is later contacted by law enforcement. Which one is it there, buddy? I feel like those should be I don't know. January 16th, police confirm deaths began investigation. Police confirmed to USA Today the men were found dead the evening of January 9th at the Platte County home and confirm a death investigation is underway. Investigators say a preliminary investigation indicates no foul play in the case. A medical examiner spokesperson confirms autopsy and toxicology tests were conducted on all three and their results are pending. And that's what it was. I don't know if it'll say it in here, so I'm going to make sure I remember. So that's what I'm going to. So I remember there was 2 different stories. It was one of them was he passed out on the couch and then they had left. And then the other story he was given was he had walked them to the door and had seen them out, the front door. So it was how did they end up in the back? So January 23rd, the homeowner says he had no knowledge that friends were outside. Persona releases a statement to USA Today saying his client, who attended high school with 2 of the victims and has known the third victim for several years, has had nothing to do with the death of his friends and had no knowledge they were outside, or he certainly would have called for help. I don't know, would ya? If I don't know. January 26th, police say there's no foul play. So police confirm on January 26th, foul play is not suspected in the men's deaths. This is not being investigated as a homicide. It is a death investigation. Police spokesperson Jake Bachina, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm sorry. Tells USA Today. I'm so bad. I'm really bad with names. February 1st, the local television station says toxicology results were released to police. Say, do I might not even have to read this other article. Hey, Wizard. I remember this case. Me and Vin were talking about this case earlier, and he was like, "Oh wow, you're doing that case tonight?" He's like, "That's cool." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "There's an update." I was like, I was like, when you need your sign, you need your sign. It said, get on over here and figure out what's going on with these guys. So that's what we're here to figure out. It says this is not being investigated as a homicide, but it is a death investigation. Okay. So then on February 1st, a local TV station in Kansas City reports the victim's toxicology results were released to police investigators, according to one of the victim's family members. But WDAF TV reports police say there are no new details available for release. February 2nd, when reached by phone Friday, Paserno says he cannot comment on the station's report. We will not be making any comments until the autopsy report has been released. Okay. And then it says Police Sergeant Phil DiMartino confirms to USA Today that the case remains active and ongoing. There have been no additional details or reports of this case revealed to any media, nor are there any plans to at this time, DiMartino says. The case remains an ongoing death investigation. Both KCPD detectives and the Playette County Prosecutor's Office have been in touch with the deceased men's families and remain in contact with them as the investigation unfolds. As of Friday, no arrests have been made and no charges had been filed in the case. And this was, that was back in February. The family was saying this whole time, like something needs to be done. I don't know. I just feel like it's very rarely that you get updates. I feel like in these cases. So we'll take them. So I wanted to show you these pictures. So, and I can go ahead and go through this, and then we'll go through some of these News Nation videos, because they did a lot of coverage on this case. I didn't realize how much coverage News Nation did. We haven't given Banfield a case in a while. She hasn't like covered anything with like some passion in a while, you know? I haven't seen her doing it anyway. I haven't been watching though. I think she needs a case. Madalena Kojikari. There you go. I am going to do an update video on hers Sunday. Tomorrow night, we're going to do Mamta. Because there's updates in her case too. So it says house where Kansas City Chief fans partied has large windows facing yard where three were frozen to death. Let's see if I can pull up like this one. And then I can just like read this while you guys are like looking at the pictures. The Kansas City house where 3 Chiefs fans froze to death in the backyard has several large windows facing the area where 3 men died, apparently unseen by a friend who was inside for days. Now, in this picture here, you don't see it because they don't have it. And this isn't like the actual like picture. This is from like the Zillow. It looks like because of the leaves and stuff. But there was 2 chairs that were on the back of that porch. And those 2 chairs, and one of those chairs was one of the guys. So it's just kind of like, how did he not? If he came down to, get a drink or something out of the fridge, or let his dog out if his dog was there. You know what I mean? Like, And then if that doggy hole is for the dog, let's say he went out the doggy hole, right? The dog would probably do something, wouldn't it? To like alert, or maybe not. I don't know if my dogs would. They're sleeping right now. I wish you could see them like close up. It would just be, that would have been funny, because like they're not hunting for nothing. They're not going to see nothing right now. But on the back porch, that's where the chairs were. Real estate photos from the home interior show 5 sets of wide ground floor windows overlooking the backyard where the frozen corpse of Jordan Willis, 3 friends, languished for 2 days. That just was like, I don't know, that was worded weird. 2 more windows overlook the yard with the bedroom upstairs, photos show. And then this is like, there's the back porch right there. I don't know why I don't remember looking at this picture before, but I know we had to have. I don't know why that. It's probably because we haven't seen him in a while. It says Willis's 3 friends, Clayton, David, and Ricky, were found dead in the home's backyard by police on January 9th, 2 days after they were last seen watching a football game at the house on January 7th. Willis initially didn't respond to any concerned messages or even people knocking at his door seeking answers. Yeah, they were knocking, and they were knocking hard. Cops went to the Missouri house for a welfare check after McKinney's fiance finally called for help because he never came home. And apparently, he didn't come home. So she calls the welfare check in. Apparently, they didn't get there fast enough to do the welfare check, or the cops did the welfare check and they didn't get an answer or something. I don't know. Or they got an answer and from Jordan, he was like, no, they're not here, because something made his fiance go, okay, that's not good enough. I'm going over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if they'd even had that check, that the check was even done by the time she got over there. So 2 sets of large windows and a windowed door occupy the wall of the living room facing the backyard, and an opening from the kitchen into the living room lines up directly with those 3 windows. There is also a double wide window directly over the kitchen sink. Around the corner from the kitchen, a room with double windows on 3 sides juts out from the house and appears into the backyard. A set of folding sliding glass doors overlook the length of the back patio where the bodies were found, where one of the bodies were found. Willis owns 2 dogs, according to a 2022 professional profile. And we saw the dogs. I think there was I think they were pit bulls or something. And then this would be the back. So is that no, wait. So is this the back right here would not have that? So there's no doggy door? Or is it only a doggy door on the screen door? Right? This is the same one, right? Ground level living room has 2 windows and whoopsie. And a windowed door locking directly into the home's backyard. Yeah. So it looks like either this is a different door or they only put a doggy door on the screen door, which, I mean, that would make sense. Because then people, don't be. That's a nice fireplace, isn't it? It's pretty. I have a fireplace. We have 2 fake ones, but we have 1 real one. And I love it. I love it so much. I really do. But we don't have a mantle like that. That's pretty. His attorney, John Persiano, claims the dogs were at his parents' home when the Chiefs fans froze to death outside. The lawyer said that Willis had been asleep on the couch next to the whirring of a loud fan for 2 days. So now he's been asleep. I forgot about this attorney messing up his story, changing his story 15 different ways to Sunday. Remember that? He did change this guy's story a lot. This is the third one we're getting at. Now he was asleep all day on the couch. First one was he worked. He slept during the morning. He worked and then he went back to sleep. The second story was he went to sleep on the couch, or he worked all day and then he went to sleep. Sorry. And then the third story now is he was asleep on the couch all day by a fan. He was also wearing noise-canceling headphones when concerned family members came calling, the lawyer said. Just happened to have them noise-canceling headphones in right when they were knocking. Don't you lie to us. I'm just trying to see. I think, isn't it this guy on the number 15? Isn't this the guy that ends up being the other friend that was there? The Alex guy or whatever? I think it is. So this is a picture of the backyard. Now, I mean, it's a privacy fence. I don't see why a neighbor would see anything back there, but I don't know how Jordan was so oblivious to that. I mean, coming from somebody with one eye, like, I think I'd even see that. These are big grown men, right? I just want to know about the dogs for sure. If the dogs were at his dad's, then I'll be more inclined to believe him. But if the dogs, you know, I don't know. Those dogs say a lot. Like, who just drops their dogs off over at their parents' house for like, what, a slumber party or something? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they would do that. So the day before, however, Paserno, so it's going to tell us right here what he's been lying about. Okay. So the first one was he was asleep on the couch. Second story. Paserno said Willis had been sleeping in his bedroom on January 7th and 8th, only leaving the room sporadically and not leaving the house at all. It is unclear whether there was a couch in Willis's bedroom. Temperatures hovered in the 30s on January 7th and 8th, and several inches of snow fell in Kansas City on January 9th. But records from Weather Underground indicate there was no significant accumulation in the neighborhood the day after the friends went missing in the backyard. Kansas City police have said they are 100% not looking into the deaths as a homicide, and that Willis has been cooperative since they've become involved. This is him here, his dog. There were no signs of foul play observed at or near the crime scene, police noted on a report. The resident, so like, I mean, that's just kind of a weird thing to say, actually. Like, don't call it a crime scene then. Call it a scene, an investigation scene. I don't know. But why would you call it a crime scene if you don't want us to, if you're going to say there's no signs of foul play? I'm assuming where the bodies were like laying, I'm assuming that there was no signs of foul play around the bodies, like, or like to the bodies, meaning like, you know, bruising and stuff like that, where like they got in a fight. There was probably maybe stuff around them wasn't just like disrupted. Like, you know, if you were like in the mud or the snow, you know, and that wet and mushy stuff in the backyard, like fighting with someone. So it says that some have speculated that the group may have become sedated after combining some kind of rugs with alcohol, then passed out in the cold after stepping outside. It's one thing for a person to tragically end up in a snowdrift after leaving a bar, but it is a completely different story for three people to end up dead sitting on somebody's back porch after a party. Dr. Caleb Alexander, I can't even say that today, so we're not even going to try. We're just going to. Epidemiologist specializing in rug use and safety at Johns Hopkins University told the Post. It certainly could be consistent with opioids, benzodiazepines, antihistamines, barbiturates, muscle relaxants, he said. The doctor added that until a toxicology report comes out, there will be no way to tell exactly what happened to the men. There are dozens of potential prescription rugs that, when combined with alcohol, could cause a level of sedation that would lead to ultimately freezing to death, the doctor said. Yeah, no, not an amount. No. Sorry, sir. You'd have to take a whole lot of them prescriptions to be falling asleep in the snow like that. But I guess, I mean, and we talked about this too, like if they were, and we know now that they had THC, fentanyl, and the white stuff, in their system. I think, I don't know what I was going to say about it now. I don't know what I was going to say about it. Oh, no, knowing what we know about that, I was going to say maybe they did go outside and they did, feel like they were warm. And so they got comfortable. But I just still do not see how 3 guys can just, all 3 of them outside. I don't know. What do you guys think of this case? Yeah. Or maybe because he might have made up this stuff because that's what he was, researching what was his thing, maybe he just did it a lot to where it didn't affect him as much and he was inside. I don't know. I don't think he maliciously or anything did anything to these guys. I just think it's just so strange that you have these, look, these are some bigger gentlemen. They're not by any stretch of the imagination small guys. I think Clayton wasn't like a real big guy. But but the other 2 guys were pretty big guys. So I figured we would watch these. This is back when Banfield had a little passion tour. Thank you guys all for being here. If you guys don't mind just taking a second, hit the like button. It really helps. Helps my channel grow. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. We talk true crime daily. Tonight we're going to cover this case. We're going to cover a Kansas City case. And then tomorrow we're going to go over some updates in the Mamta Kaffel Bat case. And then on Sunday, I want to cover Madalena Kojikari because Law and Crime just picked up the story. They're a little late, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad. I just wish they would have been here like 2 years ago on this story, like a little more on that story,
Blow that picture up full screen and take us off.
Hey, Groovy Nikki, hey, Country Thing. Welcome in. Hey, Sheba. Welcome in, everybody.
Off the screen.
Come on, hey, Nicole.
Because I was thinking about this. That's the kitchen window up high.
Sorry. I have a big old drink right here. I couldn't see. I love her earrings, by the way. Those are cute.
A view, not just from those windows, but from your own eyes at that entire backyard. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think it's really important to actually see this view because it gives a little bit more perspective of what that backyard looked like on that night that these 3 men's bodies were found. I was able to get this from the public access road, public land, able to see into that backyard and shoot this video. And when you take a look at it closely, there's one thing in particular I want to point out, and that's actually the lawn chairs, right? We know from David Harrington's family that Harrington was found right there in that lawn chair, the other 2 men's bodies actually laying down on the ground. But look, you can see when I zoom in on this video, the 2 lawn chairs sitting right there on the patio, right? So that,
look at that. Like one of those chairs had a person in it. Now, if you want to go on the other side of that, so those double doors right here, like on the corner where that one chair is, where you can see both chairs, right? If you're looking, you can see both chairs. That's what this is going to be. Like if you were to walk to your fridge, actually, you know what? If you walk to your fridge from your stairs, maybe not so much, but if you're walking from this area, you're going to see out that back door. And then you can see the window here above the sink and then the back door with the little doggy door.
that gives us some perspective of how David Harrington's body was found.
Now, I guess if he had the window covered and he had the blinds pulled down, I guess everybody doesn't pull their blinds open every day. I do. But I could see, I guess people don't, I'm just talking this out. So maybe he was one of those people, he wanted to keep it all dark too. Cause he was like, oh, last night we partied. Trying to think of it with a different mind than the first time, you know?
Found where it was specifically on that patio.
Wait, hold on.
Now, to your
Hold
point that
on,
you've been
Alex.
making all those
Wait,
windows.
wait,
Go
wait.
ahead.
Before you
Go
move
ahead.
on, don't, because this is insane. I'm going to ask our director to blow that picture up full screen and take us off the screen, because I was thinking about this. That's the kitchen window up high. Those chairs, one of them.
See, if you're coming from, there's not much over here, I guess, unless it's the living room. Like you have to go, I don't know.
Is kind of below the kitchen window and out of the view of that door, right? That white door. So if he was dead in that chair,
Right.
you could definitely say you didn't see him out the kitchen window. You didn't see him out that white door. You didn't see him out the two windows to the left. You should have seen him out of the sliders, right? Except there's a curtain rod over the sliders. And it is entirely possible that the curtains were pulled on those sliders, and you would not see him from the windows on the right, to the right of the sliders. So it is possible, if only one window, the big sliding glass doors, had curtains pulled, you might not miss. Were you able to see in that sliders if there were curtains there, or if there were big blinds that might have been pulled? Could you get a view of that?
I couldn't say for certain to you, Ashley. What I can
Ashley, don't be asking her to look at people's houses.
tell you is that almost all of these windows have some level of blinds on them. As for specifically that slider glass door, to my eyes right now, it does not appear as if there is anything blocking the way. Of course, time has passed. The police have been inside there, not to mention we believe the homeowner's been inside since Jordan moved out. So things might have been rearranged or changed, or, you know, blinds drawn or blinds open. Based on what I can tell, there was nothing right there directly blocking it. I think about these lawn chairs, right? When you think of lawn chairs, a lot of times I think about, like, you know, ones that really lay flat. That's not the case from what I can tell. These look like they belong with like a larger table. You could sit and have supper there. You know what I mean? So a large man sitting in a tall chair feels like it would be something that would be very noticeable to the eye. Now, whether or not, like you said, those blinds were closed or the windows were drawn, you know, we don't know. But I think that was really important just to point out that those are the chairs that we believe David Harrington died in.
And, you know, I'm looking at both of them, the position of both of them. If he died in the one on the left, easily you could miss that through all of those windows on, you know, the back of the house, not the addition. I'm not going to call it, I'll call it an addition, the jutting out sliding glass door part of the house. I think it's a breakfast nook or something. Easily he could be missed there. If he was over in the chair that's right, again, can I blow that picture up big for the whole screen? Just to ask our director to take the two of us off, because I just want to get a closer look. Yeah, thank you. So if he's now sitting in the chair that's butted up against the sliders, and the windows have curtains on them, because I did see a curtain rod. I did see a curtain rod when I went through the pictures inside that house. You could miss him there too. I mean, out the kitchen window, you could, it's a little harder to miss him there, right? Because it's not right underneath the window. It's just slightly out. But I'm not getting, like, I'm getting a 1D perspective. Did you get a 3D perspective on that?
A 1D.
Yeah, it might be worth another glance to go back there and see. But I see your point, and I see how it might be possible to miss out on somebody that might be sitting there. But to me, this is a large backyard. It's a large patio. It's hard to see in this 2D format, to your point. But really, just the thought of three people out there, two laying on the ground, one sitting upright in a chair, it's just really hard for me to believe that it's not. If anybody glanced out there from any of the 6 other windows, right, from upstairs, from downstairs, the kitchen, or the sliding glass in the breakfast nook, as you call it, right? There's so many opportunities for anyone.
True.
If it snowed over the weekend, aren't you gonna look outside and see how much snow came down?
Maybe, but
you know, there's just so many opportunities.
You know what? That's the other thing. Maybe there was a light dusting of snow and it was less visible. Or maybe, here's another question for you. Those windows that face out the back, what are they looking at past the yard? Are there neighbors that they're looking right at? Because if I'm getting dressed in those windows upstairs, those windows are closed. I've got blinds on them, and very often, Alex, in my house, I keep the blinds closed even in the day in my bedroom, you know, because potentially people could see in. Do you know what those windows look directly across to? Are there other neighbors?
No. So basically, where I'm shooting this video from, you see in the foreground those tall grass. You know, that's right where the road is, and that's where I'm standing on the road. So it is public land, but there's not much of a vantage point from that. You got to kind of get up on your toes in order to see into that backyard. But the point is that there is not much visibility. When you look out from those upper floor windows out, you see the larger road to and from the interstate that leads to downtown Kansas City.
Thank you for watching. Go to.
Sorry about that. I'm like, man, she's loud. Yeah, he wasn't dressed. He answered, yeah, he was in his boxers. Yeah. Remember when those pictures all came out? There was like a bunch of the pictures of him. Now I want to show you guys this next video. I was just trying to see where we were at. Where are we at? Okay. Because I kind of have them in somewhat of an order. So these ones were all like pretty much recorded the 29th and the 30th. So this one should be on the 30th here. And so basically that report, you know, just goes over, it's just going over, went over the backside of the house. When we were going through this case, we went on to Zillow. You could go in and see which rooms were all there. We had to have looked at that picture. I just, for some reason, my brain is pretending like it didn't see it until today. But I know we've had to have looked at it before. That one with the back two slider doors.
Capriello joins me live now from Kansas City.
And this guy, Alex, he just stayed down there for a couple of days. He just was there. He was just there running the scene.
You've been learning a lot, not only just today, but just in the last few minutes, something about the night of the discovery. Somebody witnessed something. What have you found out?
Yeah, what's interesting is we've been here all day, but when you do a lot of door knocking during the middle of the day, you don't get a lot of answered doors. People are at work. And so when we were out here setting up our live shot, we actually just had a neighbor approach us who lives right across from the house where this all went down, which is, of course, right here behind me. And he really filled in some gaps about what that night looked like when the investigators first got here. First and foremost, he said just by happenstance, he happened to be looking out the window at the time that Clayton McGeeney's fiance actually came here to snoop around for herself. Remember, she was the one who actually discovered the bodies in the first place and called 911. So from this.
So the neighbor snooping on her, snooping on his house. Man, everybody's just snooping on everybody, huh?
Neighbor's firsthand eyewitness report. He says he watched her actually leave the backyard, this gate right here behind me, call 911. And he said shortly after that, this whole street was flooded with cops. Meanwhile, he's filming the whole thing from his cell phone, from his front window, looking out, just wondering what the heck could be happening right here in his neighborhood, right across from his street. We're working on getting that video to you so that way you can show your viewers. But let me just describe it. He tells me that actually that person at the center of all this speculation, Jordan Willis, was actually handcuffed and detained right here against this brick wall of the house while police were asking questions. He said he filmed as actual investigators were searching through this entire house using flashlights to actually comb through each and every room, trying to find any other clues or evidence. Eventually, he said Willis was let go out of that handcuffs. He was taken to a car, presumably questioned more. But this was a big mystery that entire night. Nobody knew what was going on. And it wasn't until the news report started filling in that next day that people started getting some answers. Of course, to your point, still more questions than we have actual answers, but at least we have a better idea of what that actual scene looked like that night.
But just to say, like, Jordan did have like a whole 2 days to do stuff with, if I'm not saying he did anything, but I'm just saying if he were to have had like rugs in his home, he would have had 2 days to get rid of all of those. So, you know, I think with the investigators going in and searching, I don't think that really would have mattered because it would, so much time has passed anyway. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this was a like gory scene to where there would be like traces of something, you know, like throughout the house or anything like that.
I know that you're getting that video, and that as soon as you get it, we'll try and get it on the air. But quickly, you were able to get an interview about the view out of Jordan Willis's kitchen, and there's a big sliding glass door. What'd you learn?
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people here are a little skeptical about the story that we're hearing, in specific, Jordan Willis's story, the fact that he slept through 48 hours without actually having any sort of inclination that his friends were dead outside. And so most people that I'm here in the neighborhood that I'm speaking to tell me that they just don't know Jordan. He seems to be a bit of a hermit. He doesn't come out. He doesn't really talk to neighbors. He has 2 dogs, we know, but he doesn't really do much dog walking. And so a lot of people are a little weirded out by this whole story. Here's what one neighbor told me.
Willis did say that he didn't see his friends out, but he has a sliding glass door going right into his backyard, and it's in his kitchen, so like you have to see it. I don't know. I just feel like there's no way you didn't see your friends dead outside.
So even if he didn't contribute to their deaths, it's a little weird. He may not be telling the whole truth.
Right. I mean, people were calling him, people were knocking on the door, and he wasn't answering to anybody. So I just feel like that's odd that you wouldn't say anything.
I think it's just a matter of time. You know, I trust a lot of the people who are like involved in investigating the case, and you know, I'm just waiting for any answers as a community member. I think that's what we're all waiting for.
And we do know now that Jordan Willis no longer lives here. This was a rental property that he lived in, but these neighbors tell me that they saw a U-Haul truck within about a week and then packing it all up and moving out. It's empty now. There is one light that stays up on the upper floor, but the neighbor here tells me that it's been on every single day since this incident happened.
Break in to our coverage, Alex, when you get that video of Jordan Willis being cuffed that night, if you would. I know that's a lot of logistics, but if you can, certainly let us know. We're on the air for another 28 minutes.
Don't want to put any, no pressure, Alex. No pressure, Alex. I'm on here another 28 minutes, Alex. But he did get her the video. He got her the video. I wonder how long he had. Look, 10:49. Right there it is. Did it in like 18 minutes. Look at him. Look at him go. Look at him go.
You remember I told you about Ashton Brady. He was the neighbor who lives right across from Jordan Willis, who just by happen.
So the neighbor isn't buying it, the one we just heard from. Now, I don't know. I don't know. The way this house is set up, maybe he did go. I mean, if he just went downstairs, because the stairs were right there, and then you come around and then the refrigerator's right there, you could just kind of not be looking in that direction. And if their blinds are pulled and the shades are pulled, it's just strange to me that 3 grown men would fall asleep. Like, I mean, I know that the rugs made them fall asleep, but don't you think you guys would be like laughing and giggling and like doing whatever you're doing, like let's say you're like just joking around, or whatever guys do, joking around, laughing. Like, wouldn't you see one of them, like one of you guys would fall asleep first, and then the other 2 would maybe like laugh at you guys, like, and then if another person fell asleep and then the last person standing there and I'd be like, I'm out of here. Everybody's falling asleep. Like, wouldn't you like try to get help then? I don't know. Man, this case is hard. It's like, it's like a little bit of, just to make it a little, crazy. Yeah. I think that's what they might be trying to do, is tie them into other people's. So, so they did find, the preliminary results of the toxicology report came out February 2nd, or around February 2nd. And they were saying that there was fentanyl, coke, and marijuana in their system. So that's what was found in their system. I'm not going to read through all of this, but because we already went through all this. Yeah, we already read all this. So it says, it has not been officially confirmed whether Ruggs were involved in the men's death. Police have also confirmed there are no signs of obvious foul play observed at or near the crime scene. Okay. It was also reported that Willis, this was afterwards, he checked into a rehab. After the shocking loss of 3 of his close friends under extremely tragic circumstances, Jordan recognized that he had a problem with addiction. The source did not elaborate further on the exact nature of Willis's addiction, nor the details surrounding the tragic circumstances. He immediately checked himself into rehab after vacating his home and putting his things into storage. So, and his lawyer wasn't talking. So we're getting closer to like updates. What's this? I might have missed them, but I don't think I did. Okay.
But prosecutors met with the families of the 3 victims today. And we're going to talk to Ricky Johnson's family about that meeting in just a moment. But first, News Nation's national correspondent, Alex Capriello, has been way out front on this story. He's live now in Kansas City. So
they're going to go over what they were like with the, kind of what I just said, the toxicology reports, the initial ones anyway. We don't have like the final reports. We still don't have the final reports. I'm wondering if they're going to release them soon. And if that's why they're like, letting us know some things.
Oh, do you have any confirmations on this story that that Jordan Willis has checked into rehab?
Yeah, it was one source of mine that I've met here in Kansas City who knows Jordan from early high school days was the first person to actually tell me that yesterday. And I've been working very hard to speak to other sources, trying to get that individually confirmed. And I'll tell you this, all of the people that I've been speaking to, a lot of high school classmates, and
that's a cute dog,
also who knew Jordan from college, this is all they're talking about. This is something that's new to them. But actually independently confirming it, I have not been able to, but it is something that was shared with me early on yesterday.
I'm just getting news coming in, breaking as we're speaking, Alex. So bear with me for 1 second. Our local Nexstar station in that area is confirming that a source close to the family indeed says that he's checked into rehab. So now it's not just multiple media sources, right, your source, but also the Nexstar. I think we've got enough sources now to right, fairly confirm that he's in rehab. You did get a chance also to speak to the cousin of one of the victims, of Clayton McGeeney's cousin. I think his name is Caleb. What did Caleb know, and, right, and what did he share with you?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Caleb is very, very distraught, as any family member might be, because this was just an unexpected death to happen to him. He says Clayton was like his brother. He was cousins with him, but they were like brothers. They were like this. And so to have something like this happen to him and his family is just devastating. He was actually showing up at the Platte County prosecutor's office, where the other parents of these 3 victims were told to go today for a meeting with the prosecutor, but he wasn't allowed into that room because it was specifically for parents only. Even still, he's really hurting about this because he feels like he knows what happened, something that the rest of the country is surmising what happened, which is drug use, abuse, and overdosing. And he says he knows a lot about Jordan Willis, the fact that he goes back all the way to high school. He knows the drug habits that happened within this circle of friends, and that he often says that Jordan was a supplier for that. Of course, this is an allegation from Caleb. This is not something that's been independently confirmed from law enforcement, but he says he has a theory about what happened, and he thinks that Jordan is responsible. Take a listen. A lot of times I'm hearing that David, Clayton, and Ricky were like brothers. Jordan was kind of off on the side.
Mm-hmm.
True?
Jordan's a chemist, bro.
Jordan's what?
Jordan's a chemist. They all knew him as that. It was easy for them to go have fun, but he made a mistake. Jordan was the chemist. He's a scientist, right? He does what he needs to do. Now, to use my cousin, my best friend, as a guinea pig? No.
What about Alex Lee? What do you know about him?
I know him.
Yeah? Any idea that...
That was the other friend that was there. Alex Lee, that was his name, yeah.
He might have brought drugs?
Hell
no. No?
And he says he wouldn't know. Hell no, he didn't bring the drugs.
Jordan had them. Jordan was one.
So you don't think any more attention should be paid on Alex Lee?
Alex Lee is a good man. He's a good man. Alex Lee is a solid. He was one of their best friends forever. Jordan is somebody that is known from high school as like creating drugs for people to make them feel better in certain situations. Okay, well, you want to do this? Okay, I'm gonna make this for you. I'm gonna make this for you. I'm gonna make this for you. and handing them out. At this point, the country knows what's going to happen, right? What the toxicology reports are what they're going to reveal. We all know that, okay? Who is the one that gave it to them? And who is the one that needs to be held responsible? Where did it come from? The police are doing their job. If it takes time, it takes time. I will never tell them they're not doing what they should be doing. They're doing the best they can. It takes time because you want it to be correct at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And that's what I hope is when at the end of the day it comes out correct.
And when you think about it, there's a difference between Jordan and the three men. Those guys had relationships, they had children, but I keep hearing that Jordan was a single guy who had a house, who had access to drugs. And so it would make sense that those men might go there and use drugs recreationally. Of course, we don't know that for sure until a toxicology report comes out. But all of my sources are saying just about the same thing, that this is very normal activity when surrounded by Jordan.
One other thing I want to ask you about, next to our station, the local station there, they found out that at least one person in that house was up until 2 a.m. So Sunday into Monday morning, up late into 2 a.m. Monday morning, at least once, which is fascinating given all of these, the timeline of events. But Alex Weimer Lee, I think he calls himself Alex Lee, says he left at midnight, everything was fine. You were able to talk with Alex Lee. Did he shed any more light on that or anything else? The fact that apparently someone or all of them were up until 2 a.m. or anything else?
I have not been able to talk to Alex Lee. I've been trying to talk to Alex Lee. That's been my #1 mission while here, because I know that he was one of the very last people, if not the last person, to see these 4 men, Jordan and those 3 that are now deceased. And so obviously his testimony, his story is going to be critical to this. But I did try to stop by his house that we found through background checks, knocking on his door. You could tell it's most likely his house. Kansas City Chiefs flags hanging everywhere. And the addresses matches up to our typical backgrounding system. But I cannot find the guy. Really hard to find him. We do know that he also has a lawyer. I'm told from my sources that it seems like he is willing to talk soon because he knows that there is a lot of bad mouthing that's happening about him. Because as you heard me mention to Caleb, is there any possibility that Alex Lee brought the drugs? They know that that could be a possibility, a theory out there. And so I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I'm trying to find Alex Lee. But from Caleb's perspective, he does not believe that Alex Lee is responsible for this. He believes that Jordan is the one that's actually making these drugs and providing them to his friends.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
I hate when she yells. I hate when Banfield yells at us like that. I was trying to text back in the chat. No, Phantom, I didn't order the iPhone 16. I got the 13 Pro Max, and the new one just looks like the iPhone 8 Plus again. It has like the two little cameras. Like, I don't know. You tell me what you think of it. But I was like, I don't know. I don't think I need it. But now that it's different, I'll probably want it. He is a scientist making, yeah. I wonder how difficult that would be. I mean, if you're a if you're sciencey, like if you're a scientist, like if that's what your forte is. I mean, no, I wouldn't know. You got the 13 and the 15 Pro pretty much the same. Yeah, those two look the same, but this one does look a little bit different. I'm like, wow, this one's different. And I want the titanium one because it's titanium but that's the only reason. I mean, I don't need it. My birthday is October though, so it always comes out like the new phone comes out like the month before my birthday. It's just meant to be, So I wanted to show you guys this last video. Or actually, I have one more to show you after this. This is just in the series of getting us back on track. But if you're just now joining us, we're just going back over the timeline of the Kansas City 3, the Kansas City Chief 3, the fans that were found dead in their friend's backyard of his home after 2 days of them being there for a game. So basically, they all went there for a game. The 3 friends were supposed to have left, I guess, throughout the evening at some point. And they didn't. They went to the backyard. So Jordan Willis, he has a lot of explaining to do. Because he said, I remember him saying that they left out the front door. So how did what'd they do? Just go to the backyard just to sit there? Like, that's what I don't get too. Why didn't they just get in their cars and sit? Man, I have a lot of questions. Inquiring minds.
Overdose.
And I'm telling you, when I tell you News Nation, they hit it hard. They hit it hard. Because even the update is from News Nation. Man, they really did this
Every single day. And aside from that shocking statistic, there's the terrifying fact that many people who die have no idea they're even consuming it. That's because fentanyl is secretly added to other common drugs that users think they know how to use safely. So instead of getting perhaps that familiar high or even just relief from pain, they get a fatal surprise. And in turn, their families join a club of sorts that nobody ever wants to be part of. Our next guest is now a lifelong member after his cousin's death made national headlines back in January. It's a story we covered extensively on News Nation.
I'm just going to say, like, if that's what happened, like, if these guys knowingly ingested fentanyl is one thing, you know what I mean? But unknowingly, because there is the other stuff in their system, it makes me think that they unknowingly ingested it. And to me, that's where it gets super criminal. You know, that's where the lines are. There's, you know, when you cross the line. Now, unknowingly, I mean, you know, you shouldn't be doing it, but unknowingly and knowingly doing that is completely different things in my book.
Nation. Clayton McGeeney, David Harrington, and Ricky Johnson all attended a Kansas City Chiefs football game to watch the game and party back in January. 2 days later, they were found dead in the backyard of their friend Jordan Willis's home. Willis says he had no idea his friends' bodies were out there. Willis reportedly checked himself into rehab after the incident and moved out of the home at the center of the investigation. Police say they have found no evidence of foul play. An autopsy and toxicology results are not public, but reportedly did show that the men all had 3 times the lethal amount of fentanyl plus cocaine in their systems. Well, now the mother of one of those 3 men who died, David Harrington, she wants criminal charges filed against the owner of that house. Clayton McGeeney's cousin Alan says regardless of whether they're criminal charges, he just wants his cousin's death to save a life. So he's talking out about the fentanyl crisis. Alan McGeeney joins us now. Thank you so much, Alan, for being here. I just want to get your reaction to what David Harrington's mom is doing. She's calling for criminal charges of some kind to be filed against Jordan Willis. Do you think charges are warranted?
Yeah, I mean, I understand a mother's pain, you know, searching for some sort of understanding and looking for blame. I mean, I understand that completely, but I mean, I don't know if the blame would be on, I mean, I forget the guy's name, as Jordan, you said?
Jordan.
I don't think Jordan is to blame here, personally. I don't want to take anything away from a grieving mother, but I mean, Jordan wasn't much different than my cousin Clayton, and I loved Clayton, you know, so I don't necessarily see an issue in Jordan's actions. I mean, he was right there with my very best friend, you know, so I personally don't feel the same way.
Yeah. Police do say there's an investigation ongoing, but that there's no evidence of foul play.
You don't hear about people like him very often, you know, like he's not going to blame another person because the person he loved was doing the same thing as that person was. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I read it. I mean, I think that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep. And that's pretty honest of somebody to be.
What is it they're still investigating?
Yeah, I haven't really been following it. You know, if I'm following anything, it would be more just where the nation is. What is the nation doing? You know, I don't necessarily think that it's Jordan's fault here. I think that it would be the society itself. You know, there's not too much going on to stop fentanyl getting into America. You know, what you said, it was 150 people every day died from it.
Yeah.
150 children, 150 kids. So, I mean, what's going on overseas and what's causing all of the uprise in the colleges now, and how many days would it take to meet that same amount of life being lost? Like, where is the uproar for that?
Yeah, the autopsy report has not been released, but we know the families were told that there was fentanyl, THC, and cocaine in all the men's bodies. You know, all these.
See, that to me makes me think like they didn't know. Like, not, I don't think they willingly knew that it was in there.
We see this tragedy
I don't know.
every day. People get a Percocet and think it's just, because they've got back pain. People just go to a party and want to do something fun to get a little high. They have no idea that the drug they might be taking, the pill they might be taking, that it's tainted with fentanyl.
Yeah, drugs have always been a part of, seems like a part of growing up. In the 70s, it was one thing, 60s, it was one thing, 80s, it was a different drug. And now the drug that the kids are dealing with is fentanyl. I mean, you take some acid or some mushrooms and it doesn't kill you. Cocaine back in the 80s, you take a look, it didn't kill you. Well, now you take a drug and you're risking your life.
Yeah. Jordan Willis went into rehab shortly after the men were found dead in his yard. Is he out? Have you heard anything?
There's any contact I had with that group of friends after Clayton died, that was kind of the person that I would, with that group of people, that was the connection to it. So I have absolutely no idea what's going on with it.
Alan, what would you say to everybody listening about the dangers of fentanyl right now? Your family's been really touched by this.
Man, I would just like to talk to the parents. If anyone's listening, this is something that your children deal with, and your children, if they haven't dealt with it, they will deal with it. So, I mean, if thank you, Elizabeth, for putting it on your show and trying to reach out about it. But I personally don't think it's getting enough coverage.
Yeah.
So parents, it's up to the parents at this point. If you got to take your family in your own hands.
Yeah. Do not. I tell my kids this all the time. I don't care what it is. Even if somebody hands it and says it's an aspirin, don't take it. You never, ever take a drug of any kind.
There's kits out there. There's stuff. There's tests. If you're a smart kid,
the test.
I remember this part. Don't you tell her. Don't you?
Don't actually test the whole thing. Right. You should. No drugs.
Just don't do it.
No drugs.
Just no drugs. Hey, there you go.
All right, Alan McGeaney. Thanks so much for watching.
I thought that was cute. I remember that interview actually at the end. She was like, "No, you just shouldn't do them at all. Shouldn't do it at all." Okay. So it says investigation into Kansas City Chiefs fans' death nearing a dramatic end. Homeowner's attorney says. So Jordan's attorney is the Pierciano guy. We're going to see a video from him in just a moment too. But I thought I would read through this article and then we would go over this video. Because he came out and he spoke again. He actually spoke again. So 9 months after, 3 Kansas City Chief fans, and this came out today, I think, or no, 2 days ago. Sorry, 2 days ago. I'm sorry, September the 11th. Wait, yeah, it's 2 days ago. Yeah, wow. Oh my gosh. Bedtime for you. 9 months after, 3 Kansas City, sorry, let me put my glass back on. These things got smudge marks, I think, on them. If they ever do, just don't mind it. I can't see it. 9 months after 3 Kansas City Chief fans were found dead in their friend's snowy backyard, the homeowner's attorney believes the criminal charges will finally be levied in their deaths, but not against his client. On January 9th, 37-year-old Clayton McGinney, 38-year-old Ricky Johnson, and 36-year-old David Harrington were found dead on Jordan Willis's Kansas City property by McKinney's fiancée. Sorry, let me see this. It must be like the same. Although preliminary autopsy results shared with the media by family members indicated that fentanyl, cocaine, and marijuana were in their systems, the deceased men's families have maintained that Willis was involved in their deaths, with some threatening to file civil suits against the homeowner. And they could do that. They could, there's nothing against, the law to do that. On Tuesday, Willis's attorney, John Pierciano, told Fox News Digital that charges will be forthcoming in the next few weeks based on internal conversations with prosecutors. Like, I mean, did they tell you to talk, John Persiano? Like, do you think that prosecutors are like telling him to be talking about this? He probably shouldn't have even said anything, you know, like they're probably too after they arrest whoever it is, right? I can say with confidence that my client will not be charged in that regard. Well, then what regard will he be charged in? Because that's all about saying something like it says, I can say with confidence that my client will not be charged in that regard. My client will not be charged in any manner with having to do with the untimely death of his friends. When asked who would face criminal charges in the men's deaths, Persiano replied, the criminal liability could be for a felony murder charge if somebody provided these young men with rugs. Well, your client would know that. And you're so full of like, you know, you're so confident your client's not going to be charged. So I'm assuming your client told some names or something. That's just what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not saying that. Don't go get him or anything. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like, you know, like maybe Mr. Persiano should have just maybe left this to himself for a little while longer. Fox News Digital previously reported that a fifth man who Fox News Digital has chosen not to name unless criminal charges are filed was in Willis's home at Northwest 83rd Terrace on January 7th. But that man told Fox 4 that he left while the men were still watching the game, and he stressed that he was not the last person to see them alive. That fifth man's attorney could not be reached for comment by Fox News Digital. Persiano said that the length of the probe, which the Kansas City Police Department has repeatedly characterized as a death investigation rather than a homicide investigation, is definitely out of the ordinary. He also said his client voluntarily handed over all of his electronic devices to police early in the investigation, along with DNA samples. Okay. I don't know why they would need his DNA. I don't know what caused this investigation to go on for 9 months. That would be a better question answered by the prosecutors. Thought you were having talks with them, Persiano. There is nothing to report or comment on at this time, a representative from the Platte County Prosecutor's Office told Fox News Digital. It is still an ongoing investigation. I assume when something is done, Eric Zan, that's the prosecutor, will be doing a press release. We don't have a timeline to report, unfortunately. The Kansas City Police Department could not be reached for comment at press time. Although he is confident that his client will avoid criminal prosecution, Persiano said that civil charges are likely on his horizon. He said he has been contacted by attorneys representing the men's families and noted that the statute of limitations on these types of cases is 5 years in Missouri. Hasn't even been a year yet. Jennifer Marquez, David Harrington's mother, told this news outlet the first she heard of the movement. This is the first she's heard of movement in the case. Until she hears further news from the prosecutor's office, she said she will keep herself calm and not get any hopes up. Of course, I'm extremely happy to hear that there may be something going on, she said on Tuesday. I have not been told anything, she continued. They just have not relayed any information to us, the families, though, so I have nothing as far as information. We've not been getting the autopsies or any information like that. They do not want us to be able to release anything that would hurt the case, I guess. Like right there, that tells me a lot. I don't know who they're looking at or what they're doing, but they're doing something, obviously. If they're not telling the families anything, they're keeping everything to the, like, you know what I mean, really close. If this was just, you know, hey, they, you know, accidentally ingested too much, you know, fentanyl, they knew what they were doing, but they didn't realize, you know, it was an accidental overdose. You know, they could shut the book on this and just be like, that's it. That's end of story. But these investigators are investigating for some reason, you know. I mean, there's something that they're seeing what we're kind of seeing, you know, like How do three men just drop dead all at one time? That's what I don't get. How does Jordan not see them? I mean, like, I guess when all the cards are stacked up, it's just like, it's a lot. Jordan Willis, who moved out of his Kansas City home and enrolled into a rehab program after his friend's death, has had his life changed forever. Well, yeah, I mean, when 3 people die in your backyard, I mean, yeah, your life is going to be changed it's going to be changed forever. It is an awful thing when people have already presumed you're guilty without real evidence. It's a tough road to hoe, and he's managing it as best he can. A source close to the Willis family told Fox News Digital that the 39-year-old PhD holder and research scientist still struggles with the aftermath of all of this. He not only lost his good friends of his, but had many people turn on him. It affected every part of his life, and he's doing the best he can. The source continued. He has been helping with his dad's care this year and trying to stay positive. All that's sad about his dad. That's sad about his dad. So I think that there's going to be some charges coming on. I mean, that's what the attorneys are saying. I mean, people are talking. I was trying to get back up here a little bit. I wanted to see, like I wonder who came to who. You know what I mean? Like, for this story. Like, I wonder if, like, this Persiano guy, right? The attorney, if he just got a little bit of information from the prosecution. They're like, yeah, we're not going to charge your client. Probably we might, but we're probably not going to, but we are going to charge this dealer he knows. Wonder if that would make this Persiano guy be like, I'm going out and telling everybody, because he did come out and tell us like 3 different stories in the beginning of this case. So maybe he was ready to get back. He was, trying to get back and like have one up or something. I don't know, but we'll listen to him here. He's going to talk to, I think Banfield, right? Nope. Never mind. Just kidding. I forget Dan Ambrose. I forgot his name for a minute. It says that he won't face any criminal charges, but prosecutors haven't confirmed that claim. Okay. Oh, is it going to go? Maybe I should refresh the page. Jeez. It's probably because I've got like 50 windows open. I do have a lot. When I say 50, I don't mean 50.
Appreciate it. All right. So what can we expect is going to be happening in this case?
Yeah, that window is still just spinning around. Is that a ghost on over his shoulder? I think it is. I think you put like a little candle in that.
Thank you for having me on tonight, Dan. My understanding is that within 2 to 3 weeks that some type of charges are going to be coming forward. And reading between the lines, I anticipate that someone's going to get charged with some type of felony murder potentially. I am very confident that it won't be Jordan. From day one, we've talked about the fact that he had absolutely nothing to do with causing harm to his lifelong friends. And I think that's been borne out by the law enforcement investigation. So
felony murder. I would assume that is going to be someone who supplied them with the drugs.
You would think, and that would be anybody who was involved in that, whether it would be the person who manufactured the drugs to the person who received the drugs and then passed those drugs along. Jordan has had nothing to do with that. And I think the investigation has taken quite a while. We voluntarily surrendered his telephone. We also gave a DNA sample voluntarily. And my understanding is from their investigation that the inspection of everyone's phones is leading to what's going to be charged and the fact that Jordan is not going to be charged. So I'm quite confident of that. Whether Jordan gets charged with another crime or not, that's up in the air, and we'll just have to wait and see.
When you say he may get charged with another crime, what potential crime could that be?
Well, there's a lot of speculation about what he may or may not have done that evening, but none of it has to do with his friend's death. So we're very happy and pleased about that. And I don't want to speculate on what a prosecutor is going to do in terms of making their charging decision when they haven't told me. So we'll just have to wait and see.
But you are convinced that your client, A, is not going to face any kind of serious charges, and B, that someone else will?
From day one, I was convinced of that, and I am right now today that he's not going to be having any type of liability regarding that. And my understanding from the information that I know right at this time, and I've learned recently, is that someone is going to be charged, and maybe more than one person.
With something like felony murder?
Yes, sir.
But you don't know the exact charge?
No, and I don't know, how many suspects there are. I just know that fortunately that Jordan's not going to be one of them.
And were you able to figure this out based on what they're talking about with regard to your client, or did someone in law enforcement just tell you?
No, it's based on what they told me regarding my client, what the investigations, in these cases, Dan, law enforcement gets on the phones and they have every single text message, phone call, social media post, all of that stuff. Been doing this 30 years, and here in the last, 10 years since we've got social media, it's very rare for me to get a case where it's not heavily, a lot of evidence in that regard. And so we knew early on that wasn't going to be a problem for Jordan. And apparently it's turned into a problem for a couple of other individuals.
And the police have been saying there is no foul play. That has been very frustrating to the families of those who are deceased. Do you think that this is going to change that assessment?
From what I understand, it is going to. And I think, the big thing here with particularly my client is that he didn't want to harm his buddies, and he wouldn't have done anything to harm them at all. So we were very happy to hear about the investigation and what it showed and proved from his end. And we're just going to have to wait and see till the prosecutor releases, their information and what they're going to do. I think it's important to note, Dan, that this is a rural county. It's north of Kansas City. They have approximately 8 to 10 prosecutors, where down in Jackson County, Kansas City, we have 80 or so. So it's a more rural area, and things generally move a little slower in that particular office. As to why it took 9 months, I don't know. That's something we're going to have to learn from the prosecutor.
Well, I could tell you why it took 9 months. If he's saying that if this is what we're thinking, if they're going to go after for felony M, they're going to have to get the big dogs. They're going to have to go so they got to start small. They got to figure out how they're going to get their buy-in on the first person. Because they can't just walk up to this person's house and be like, hey, Jordan said you was over here selling stuff, are you? No, they usually do like an undercover kind of like operation or something, right? They get it from the lower end dealers, and then they just make their way up the food chain to like the higher fish, the people that are manufacturing it, and then that's what I think the cops did. I think the cops are like going up that little ladder as far as they can go, and they're just charging as many people as they can charge. Because they're probably not going to charge Jordan, because he was technically, I think, considered part of the victim group. Like, I think they're all considered, they're all going to be considered victims, even though, it does look very weird that Jordan is here standing and none of them are. But that could be why because he stayed inside. I mean, that could have been what saved his life. And if that's the case, then, I mean, I couldn't imagine having all your friends, hoagies from Wawa. I've never had a hoagie from a Wawa, but I've had hoagies from Philadelphia. Now I'm getting hungry. I'm like, now I'm getting hungry. Now I'm getting hungry. I ate something earlier. Oh, yeah, I was like, I didn't eat that much, though. But I don't really need to eat that much. I like the name Play Nice. That's a cute name. I don't know what your little emoji is. Oh, it's you. I'm like, I could not see that was a person from down here. Man, those little circles are small. That blue is beautiful. I love that color blue. That's a very pretty color blue. Yeah, they died. Well, I don't know if they died at once, but they died within the same night, I guess you would say. I mean, unless they literally all just fell asleep at the same time. Like, I just, was someone out there playing music? I mean, like, really, like, who goes to sleep at the same time? I mean, I guess you could feel the warmness from the rugs, feeling warm. But I don't know. I think the people that were distributing the bad batch of fentanyl are the ones who will be arrested. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think that you're right, Squeaky. They were spread out in the yard. Yeah, they were spread out in the yard. I just see it's weird because one of them was like over by like the corner, and then one was in the chair, and I'm not sure where the other guy was exactly. I think he was in one of the two garden beds, I want to say. I took the pictures down. Of course I did. One time I do that. But I was wondering if that was, I don't think it is. I think it might have been one of the gardening beds. I'm not sure though. What was I going to say? I don't think I have anything else to say. I think that's all I got. What's this? Oh, never mind. That's old. I thought it was something new for this case. I was like, oh, something new for this case, but it's not. Let me go over, make sure there's nothing, no news updates to give you guys for anything. Let's see. Oh, that's such a cute picture. Look at this picture that Grizzly put on her Twitter of Elijah Vu. Look at that little boy. Oh my, be still my heart. So sad. Okay, I've been wanting to know about this. Okay, shoot. We have another case. We have an update on it. I meant to look this up earlier and I forgot. Okay. So the Oklahoma moms that were murdered, Jillian Kelly and Veronica Butler, by the God's Misfits. Well, there's been new documents that have been coming out, and there's a creator, and they've been putting them out on like Facebook through the Facebook group. And I've been reading through them, and I was like, well, I don't know if I should do a live over these because I don't know, they weren't like, it was just like them like wanting to separate their cases and stuff. It wasn't like anything too like groundbreaking. Well, now they have the DNA evidence. It's going to be like new DNA evidence in there. Also, Paul Grice, I heard that he was the one that stabbed Veronica Butler. And so we're going to hear like a lot more a lot more stuff. So we'll do a live over that too. Tuesday, Wednesday. We are booked up. Look at that. I just booked us up from Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday or something. So I'll read through each because you have to read through all 5 because there was 4, now there's 5. So you have to read through all 5 documents because they all say something different. And I'll highlight what is different about each one for you guys. That way it's a lot easier and you guys will know. I'll put it on the community tab or community tab too. Make sure you guys still want to I think you guys still want to go over that case, but yeah, right. Kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm. I have my mom's old cookbook. I think it was my grandmother's actually. It was that Betty Crocker cookbook that everybody had back in the 70s, 80s, maybe. Like the orange colored one. brown or something like that. I forget. It's out in the storage. They do work. They work just fine. Bread pudding. Yeah, Lori Shaver was found guilty. I saw that. I was just reading the chat a little bit. Maybe Judy. They could have been, yeah. But the garden beds didn't have anything in them. I don't know, but they could have still went over there. He didn't even check. So when he looked out the front windows and he saw their trucks or their cars there, he didn't even mean to check then. He just must not have looked out his window for 2 days. I don't get it. Yeah, that's why we're saying rugs. I'll say like designer rugs sometimes. Thanks for crying out loud for gifting a membership. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. You don't. From the 1800s, what'd they eat? Everything? Like, I mean, what? Yeah, I would love to see that. What was they eating? They'll just like show you a little like, I don't know, person dragging back their meal, whatever their little meal with them. I already did. I already sent you guys' emails to each other. I copied and pasted it. So I didn't type it out. So whatever you typed to me, that's what I typed out for you guys. Just let me know if you like sent it wrong or something, because I just copied it. I didn't like type it in. Head cheese, they didn't waste any part of the animal. Thanks, Cheryl, for getting the membership. That's very sweet. Oh, Sheba. You're already a fan without the name in green. You guys can put them in the you can put your emails in the chat. Just don't put the .com afterwards or the @ because I can't like send back and forth. I mean that's going to be too confusing. Y'all are going to know I can't do that. Just like put your email in there. Just like put like if my email is just do it like that. And then do like that. Like that should work. If you do like if what will get you is if you do the dot. If you do those periods is what gets you. So then you guys can, exchange them in their chat if you guys want to. Because I don't even know. Cheryl said send me ladybugs and Mary Beth said send me someone's and I'm already confused. Don't even know what you guys said. I'm so bad. I'm so bad about that. I'm bad about checking my email. I am bad about that. I need to check my email this weekend. That little picture of Elijah Vu, now that is adorable though. And I'll make sure everyone gets their email in. If there's a period in your if there's a period in your email, well then I don't know what you do there. Because I just thought of that. I was like, wait, I don't have a period in mine. Yeah, like I just did like my name of my like where it was, and then I put at Google. Like instead of the @ sign. There's a period in your email. Maybe write out period. I will have this Discord up in a few days too. I just have to have Vincent help me with it over the weekend. I'm always the one. Yeah, listen, mine's just my name. Mine's TitaniumBuilt Boost. It's all just one. I want to know why they are. Probably because it's cheaper it's cheaper. You can give them more. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can cut it up. I'm assuming fentanyl is cheaper than Coke to make or distribute or whatever it is to make, or you could just cut it. They cut it and then they cut it and then they cut it and they cut it. And then by the time it gets to somebody that's going to do it, it's pure fentanyl. And it's not even what you thought you were getting. So I'll have to look into Lindsay Shiver. There is some stuff going on with her case though. I just can't remember what the last thing was I saw about it. But I saw that her ex-husband's girlfriend, the Savannah Chrysalis, she's trying to get her parents out of jail or prison. But I saw that, but then I saw something else with them too. They're still a couple. Thank you again, Cheryl. That's very sweet. Thank you. Thank you for gifting memberships, guys. You guys are so nice. It's very sweet. Yeah, Mary Beth, I went over that just a minute ago. Where I'm going to read the documents for you guys. So apparently Tad, he's the one that stabbed Jillian. So it's looking like, I haven't read through all the documents yet, but it's looking like old Grandma Tiffany, she didn't do much of anything. She didn't get her hands dirty. It's just, she wants it done and she doesn't go do it. Stephanie, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. She said I was pretty. Oh. I could agree with that, Squeaky. Because I think the fentanyl would be a lot more addicting, I think. No, I have though. I need to get caught up with Maddie Soto's case too. But there was a new video that Long Crime or one of those Long Crime or Court TV, one of the two put out. I think it was Long Crime. I don't know if it's new to you guys. It'd be new to me because I need to get back on that case. And go through, there's just so much. I got to go through those documents. And then we also have people going to court next month. Sarah Boone's going on trial. And Richard Allen will be going on trial. So we busy, which is good. What color? So this is called Thunder Gray. And it's by, I can't think of the brand. I think it's Bear or Paint. Oh, no, let's see. Thunder. Sherwin-Williams has a Thunder Gray. I don't think mine was Sherwin-Williams, though. I thought it was. I guess it could have been true. No, they do have a Bear. Oh, great. Now I don't know. They're both very close, though. They even have a Toyota Thunder Gray. It's like a greenish gray. I don't know. Let me show you what the little paint swatch thing. I'm like looking all in the thing, but look at the little paint swatch. That's what it looks like. It looks like darker than it is. I mean, it's pretty dark. It's real dark. But yeah, it's called Thunder Gray. So if you want to get the exact paint color. I've had so many people ask me about it. I finally just went and looked at the paint color one day and I was like, what's that paint color? Because I mean, it looks cool with the sign, which actually my sign looks like it's think my sign's up too high. I think it looks like it's kind of like, I don't know. Looks like it's up too much, maybe. Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. So it doesn't like flash so much. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to have Vincent come in and check it out. He's got the better setup visually. Like he's visually really gifted and like, setting this whole stuff up. Like I'm good at doing like the living room and the bedroom and stuff like that. So that's what I'm good at. Oh, thanks, Mary Beth. I'll have to send some pictures of my house. I'll have to put some pictures online or something. I do have some on my TikTok, a lot of little pictures or like videos and stuff. Well, Jen Soto will probably never see the inside of a courtroom. I don't think. Maybe she will. I heard it's real hard to listen to. I don't do callers normally, but I do open panels. Like I do like panels. I just don't know how to do phone callers. I guess I could do a Google Voice number. I guess you just change your Google Voice number or something like that. If people are more comfortable like on the phone than on like a panel. But yeah, I do that sometimes. Good home decor. Oh, I can tell you where to find it. I can tell you where to get the good home decor. Speaking of home decor, I'm gonna have Vincent bring out my pumpkins this weekend. They're in the shed. Sorry, my face itches. It's weird. There's metal like right where I'm scratching my face, so like it doesn't. I can't itch the scratch, if that makes sense. Like I could scratch it all day, and I can't feel that, but I could feel the actual itch, and it's deep into my skin. It makes me just want to like rub my face raw, but I know I can't feel it, so I just don't do that. Oh, thank you, Ladybug, for $9.99. She said, thank you for all being such a great group of friends. That's very sweet of you. Thank you, guys. You guys are sweet. You're sweet to me and you're sweet to each other. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. We got tons of stuff to go cover. So I'm going to be busy. I better start writing down stuff. I got tabs open. I didn't realize that, cases we were covering, we're going to have a bunch of different updates, which is good because we've been wanting some updates on those cases. So it's really, that's exciting. So I will be back tomorrow evening. If you guys missed it earlier today, they did come out with a press conference to say that was Elijah Vu that was found. So those were his little remains that were found. And I don't think there's anything else. Nope, nothing I see. So I'll be back on tomorrow night. Have a wonderful evening, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you don't mind taking a second, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to all new content. I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. I may come back on during the day tomorrow. You never know. You never know. It's going to be Saturday. Maybe we'll do like a members only this weekend or something. So keep your alerts on, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, guys.